everyone, I'm back today to show another process video. Today I have an 8.5 by 11 page to show you. And what I'm doing is I just took some plain white cardstock and added some gesso to the background, and I'm just wiping that on with a baby wipe. I want it kind of all over the background of the page because I'm going to end up using watercolors in the end, and I want them to not warp the paper too much and not make the paper rough up too much. So I'm going to use that gesso to help put a nice base layer on. So this page is basically all made using rub-ons and just a little bit of paper. I've seen a lot of people using a whole pack of rub-ons on one page, and as much as I love the rub-ons, I really seem to have a hard time using them. So I end up hoarding them and then not using them at all, and then I just have them in the stash and then they don't work very well. So what I decided to do is go ahead and use pretty much the entire package. I think I actually used the entire package on this. I may have used one or two rub-ons on a different layout at a different time, but other than that, I think this whole package pretty much is gone by the time this video is over. So, and I really ended up liking the end result. It turned out better than I expected, and I think it helped that I had that black and white photo of my daughter. It felt like I can just use all of these and I didn't have to worry about matching the colors or anything like that. And then of course the colors and the rub-ons, they all matched each other. So it seemed to work really perfect. So these rub-ons came in a Scraptastic Kit. I believe, I think it was one of the summer Scraptastic Kits from last year. And these rub-ons are from the Shimelle Lane collection. So like I said, I just add them on all over here. Instead of boring you watching me rub down a bunch of rub-ons, I kind of sped it up and fast forwarded. And here I'm just going to add in the watercolor. This is just a palette of watercolors I got from Michael's, and I'm just going to play, and I'm trying to decide what I want to do. And at first I think I'm going to just put the color on the left hand side, but then I decided to put it all the way across. It just seemed to work better that way. So I'm going to use the blue, the pink, yellow I believe, and some little bit of green at the very, very top. And again, just mushing it all the way across the whole layout. It just seemed to work better that way. And it does warp the paper somewhat. I didn't get the gesso all the way to the edges, and you're going to see that in a couple minutes. But that's okay. It ends up turning out okay. So I'm just going to dry that up. Dry, 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 dry. Dry, dry, dry. And it's dry. And I decide, oh, you know what? This is going to be kind of cool. I think I'm going to try to wipe off some of this color with my baby wipe, with a wet baby wipe, and I really, really like how it turned out. So where the gesso was, the watercolor didn't stick as much, but it's still kind of a faint color. And then you can see like the edges of where the gesso was rubbed on, and I really like the effect that that gave. So I was really excited about that. Excuse me. So now I'm just going to put on some little bit of grayish black splatters across the page just to add a little bit more texture and dimension, and then I'm going to wipe off some of the rub-ons so that the black isn't on all of them. So it kind of makes the rub-ons pop out, and then the drops of color kind of look like it fades into the background more than on the top of the page. So I do that in a couple of them. That's pretty much it. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to mount this photo. I'm going to look at the different pages or papers that came in the kit. I don't have a whole lot of paper left, so I'm just kind of having a little bit of scraps. So I'm going to play around with this until I kind of get the combination that I like. And I do play with this paper probably more than anything else in this kit, or this layout, I'm sorry. It just, I couldn't quite get where I wanted, and plus I didn't want to cover up any of the pretty rub-ons, so I was kind of limited in my space, so I kind of fiddled with it a little bit, but then I finally came down to kind of something I liked with some of the scraps and things like that, and it turned out nice. And this layout went by pretty quick. Besides rubbing all those rub-ons down, really the most of the layout took me less than a half an hour, so it was a nice quick layout, and I was pretty excited about that. I don't usually get layouts that fast. My layouts normally take me around an hour or more maybe. So this one was a quickie. And so there's that scrap of pink paper. I'm just trimming it down a little bit. I didn't like the sharp corners that it had after I had it in like kind of a triangle pattern. So I just play with that a little bit. And on this one, I don't really want to show the butterflies too much because they look a little funny, I think, being sideways like that. So I cover up most of it just so I can have the pink at first. But then I decide, you know, I don't think it really matters. I don't mind seeing the butterflies. So I'm going to play with it a little bit more. And then I finally decide, nope, I don't want to see those butterflies. They're too distracting. And I just want that little bit of edge of pink to balance out the lots of pink on the left, so that is balanced out on the right hand side. And then here I'm going to play with some of the flags and embellishments that came in the kit. That little die cut viewfinder piece right there, that was used on another layout, so I'm using the other half. And this is, I believe it was a cut apart sheet, or it was already a card by itself. I can't quite remember. So I'm just going to cut out that heart, and it gives that flower a place to land and kind of sit on, because I felt like it was floating a bit. So that's going to go up there in the upper right hand corner like you saw. And then here's some labels and things like that I'm going to play with, and I'm going to add that one that's kind of red and pink stripe to the right hand side. And then I'm going to play with some other die cuts in the kit. I'm not going to put a whole lot on this layout. I didn't want to take up a lot of space. Plus, with all the rub-ons, I didn't really feel like I needed a lot. I just wanted to get some of that, the dimension and stuff in the right-hand corner. So I added that little tag that says date on it, and then I'm putting a little flare button on the left-hand side. I felt like it was a little flat with all the rub-ons, so I wanted to add a little bit of dimension to that left-hand side. And I just add my Stampin' Up! Dimensionals on the back of that, and it's the perfect height just to stick it down, but not, you know, make it pop up any more than it already is, since it is a little, those things called flare button. So now I'm just gluing all those pieces down. I finally decided where I kind of wanted everything. I'm going to end up putting that little date tag in there, and I don't believe I actually put the date there. I put the date someplace else, but I just like the color, and it gave a little bit of extra layering to that area. And then I'm adding that flower to the top right. And then here are some enamel dots that I made, and I'm just going to put those through various places on the layout. And then I use glue dots to glue those down. That's the best adhesive I found for those homemade enamel dots. I think they stick the best that way. Anything else I've used just makes them pop off, and I think I've mentioned that in a video before. So here I'm just trying to find the right colors. I'm trying to kind of match the colors that I put down on the watercolor. So I'm using greens, reds, I think blue and white, and I just scattered those throughout the rub-on area. So now, like I said, I'm going to glue those down with the glue dots, and I'm going to fast forward so you don't have to see me sticking down like 10 little bitty dots. And here I'm just going to trim down the layout. I want to back it on some black paper just to bring your eye in, since it is a very, very busy layout. I thought it would be good to have that border around the page, and I really do like how it looks. And plus, with the black and white photo, I think the black background makes it look and stand out a lot more. So I thought that was a pretty good option for the background. Sometimes these pages feel like they kind of fall off, and I seem to back a lot of my layouts with a cardstock. And sometimes pattern paper too, it depends. If I do use pattern paper, I always gut it. And a lot of times I'll gut my pattern paper too, but this time I just kind of kept it like this. I have a lot of black cardstock. This got really, really warped, so as you can see, I put like a ton of adhesive, and of course I didn't put it down straight, because it's like almost impossible to put things down straight when they're warped like this. And I think that the page is actually not quite straight either, so I'm going to trim it up a little bit more, make it fit, and then stick it back down. And I'm just using a ruler and my Martha Stewart X-Acto knife. I really like this Martha Stewart X-Acto knife. It has a really good grip on it. It's better than those silver X-Acto knives. I think it just has a nice handle, and it's just comfortable to use. And I don't use it all that often, but for some things like this is where I use it. So again, I'm going to fiddle with this. It's not quite right. And then that's pretty much it. I'm going to show you some close-ups after I move up the edges and give it a little extra dimension there. And I just want to thank you guys so much for watching, stopping by. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe below. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. I really enjoy hearing all your comments and love talking with you guys. Thank you guys so much, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.